Hello everyone, and welcome back to FarFarAway Theories, the channel that theorizes and discusses everything Shrek. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing why Lord Farquaad's right-hand man, Thelonious, is actually not a villain, but in fact, he's a bit of a good guy. As we all know, Lord Farquaad is pretty short. However, he uses his right-hand man, Thelonious, to intimidate others and get his dirty work done. Because of this, a lot of people think Thelonious is a bad guy or a straight-up villain. However, in this video, I'm going to explain why this actually isn't the case. So to start, let's talk about all the things Thelonious did for Lord Farquaad. When you actually look at the full story of the first Shrek movie, Thelonious doesn't actually do that many bad things. He scares the magic mirror into working for Lord Farquaad by breaking another mirror to scare him. He also tortures the gingerbread man, dunking him in milk and making him choke on it. However, as his boss, Lord Farquaad told him to do all those things, and it was in his job description to do it. We don't know the full backstory, for sure, between Farquaad and Thelonious. However, I've always seen Thelonious as kind of Farquaad's protector, and also there's definitely some history there, because regardless of what Lord Farquaad asks him to do, even if he doesn't like it, he still does it. However, when you look at the grand scheme of Shrek in the story of Thelonious, it's pretty obvious that deep down, he's actually a good-natured person and doesn't like doing those evil things. But you might be asking, where's the evidence? Well, to begin, I think the first Shrek movie shows a good example of this, when the maniacal Lord Farquaad is defeated by Shrek and ultimately eaten by Dragon. As soon as this is over, there isn't really any emphasis on Thelonious' reaction to his death. However, Thelonious immediately starts showing his true colours by supporting Shrek and Fiona's marriage, by encouraging the audience to support them. Something we also have to keep in mind is that Thelonious, throughout the Shrek movie, shows that he isn't the sharpest tool in the shed. In other words, he's not very smart. However, Lord Farquaad makes up for that, as he is incredibly smart and devious. I think Thelonious has loyalty to Lord Farquaad. Apart from getting paid, it's pretty obvious that Thelonious and Farquaad have loyalties to each other, because when Lord Farquaad can't decide which princess to save, Thelonious pitches in by picking number 3, and Lord Farquaad actually listens to him, trusting in his judgment, even though Lord Farquaad knows he's not that smart. Although Lord Farquaad was struggling to pick which princess to save, it does show that he trusts Thelonious, and there's loyalty between the two of them, and he trusts in Thelonious' judgment, because he knows Thelonious is good-natured, and would only pick the princess he thought was best. So once Lord Farquaad is eaten, Thelonious can just go back to his good-natured ways, right? He'll just have to find another job. Well, fortunately, not really, or at least not straight away, because Lord Farquaad actually returns as a ghost in Shrek 4D, and still wants Fiona as his own. He orders Thelonious to kidnap Fiona, so he can kill her, and then make Fiona his ghost queen. This further proves Thelonious' loyalty and good nature, as soon as Farquaad returns, shortly after he's changed sides, he shows his loyalty by just being hired by Lord Farquaad again, even though he's a ghost. I think it's pretty obvious that Thelonious owes Lord Farquaad a big deal, because even when he's a ghost, he still wants to support and help his friend. This shows that Thelonious is one of the most loyal characters in Shrek, and regardless of if his friends are in the wrong, he wants to do his best for them. However, Thelonious is conflicted in Shrek 4D, because even when he's kidnapping Fiona, he's apologising to Fiona He just explains to her that he's doing this for Lord Farquaad, kind of like he doesn't have a choice, and he is incredibly conflicted, which shows that he isn't actually evil by nature.
Thelonious?
Sorry, Princess.
Something interesting is that in Shrek 4D, Thelonious' true power and fighting skills are on display, because Fiona tries to use her incredibly overpowered, time-stopping powers to defeat Thelonious. Thelonious then shocks everyone, including the audience, and shows that he also can stop time like Fiona, or at least be able to move when Fiona's using that power. He then completely wins the fight and kidnaps Fiona, putting her in a position where she can't move or escape. Thelonious escapes with Fiona on a horse, however Shrek and Donkey are in hot pursuit. Eventually throughout the special, they meet up with Dragon and they get to Fiona, but before that, Thelonious has Fiona tied up, as Lord Farquaad requested, and is going to throw her off a waterfall so that she can become Lord Farquaad's Ghost Queen. Fiona begs with Thelonious for him not to do this, and Thelonious sadly apologises to Fiona, saying he has to do it for Lord Farquaad.
Thelonious?
Sorry, Princess.
No! Nitwit! Not with you on it!
Huh?
Eventually, when Fiona begins to escape, when Shrek arrives and starts to beat up Thelonious, he shows remorse. He declares that every punch Fiona deals on him, he rightfully deserves.
Deserve that. And that too.
This shows that he's just incredibly guilty and actually doesn't want to do anything Lord Farquaad says at this point, but he's so loyal to his friend that he just thinks he doesn't have a choice. That might be because he's not very intelligent. However, I think loyalty is a big part of this. He's definitely a very conflicted character. However, Thelonious is not a villain because he's not evil and he doesn't get any pleasure by doing any evil requests Lord Farquaad asks him to do. Something that cements Thelonious as a hero is that, in a surprise twist, due to not fighting back against Fiona, Thelonious ends up falling off the waterfall as Fiona punches him into the water, and he is defeated because he refuses to fight back. Lord Farquaad is angered by this, however he ends up cheering up as Shrek, Fiona and Donkey's raft ends up going over the waterfall too, and he thinks they've all perished. As he waits for Fiona to arrive and become his Ghost Queen, it turns out that Thelonious actually hung on to the waterfall, and he actually saved Shrek, Donkey, and Fiona's lives. Thelonious fully becomes a good guy in this moment, and pretty much saves the day, as he buys time for Dragon to save all of their lives. After Dragon saves them from falling, she promptly destroys Lord Farquaad with her fire, and from what we can tell, Lord Farquaad is sadly gone forever. They don't show many emotions for Thelonious after this moment, as he just becomes a good guy. However, I bet he's still very saddened his friend Lord Farquaad was destroyed. I can imagine Thelonious is just happy to be able to not be evil anymore and do what he wants to do in life. In one of my previous theories, without going into too much detail, I also think he's the reason the gingerbread man escaped Lord Farquaad's castle, because he felt bad for Gingy after Lord Farquaad brutally destroyed his legs and threw him in a bin. But what do you guys think of Thelonious? I personally think he's not a villain, and I hope I explained my case and gave him some honour that he truly deserves. Make sure to like the video, because it really helps our far away theories swamp grow. Also make sure to subscribe, comment, and hit the subscription bell to make sure you don't miss any FarFarAway theories. And I'm trying to get 1,000 subscribers, so that would be really kind of you, and really help the channel. Anyway, I'm gonna go back to making some more Shrek-tastic content in the meantime, because I'm really happy to be back. But more importantly, stay safe everyone, and have a Shrek-tastic day. And I'll see you all again, very soon.
Bye-bye. See you later. Over she goes, Thelonious!